Hello, and welcome. Coast Korner K4 episode. I think this is 13? 12? 13? I think 13. It feels like a 13. I'm going to go with 13. I am your host, Goodman Chloris. I also play bonus sometimes when he needs to do something, like punch someone in the throat. I'm also joined by Javier.
Hello.
He's playing Mr. Oid, as always. And also, Kyle's still here.
Surprisingly, I
Yeah,
haven't died yet.
no, nobody's died. Opponents has almost died several times, but nobody's quite gone all the way yet. But yeah, unfortunately, good old Imperator John, he could not make it today for personal reasons. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get his character killed in record time.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah. So last time, the group fended off the last of the corporate attackers that were attempting to murder the international superstar and local anti-corporate spokeswoman Outkast. They completed all three of her concerts in record time. Mr. Zetsubo, Pharaoh, he got his moment in the spotlight and did his pretty cool, epic set with Outkast, and I did increase the number of his fans. I think it's up to like 5,000 fans, something like that, or followers. So, pretty sizable at this point. Almost double his follower count. And then the session ended with the group saying goodbye to Outkast, wishing her farewell, saying that when she finishes her tour in a few months and returns to the super city of Los Angeles, maybe, just maybe, she'll invite the group over and keep helping her out in Los Angeles. And the PCs got paid, almost got into a shootout with Outkast's agent, but luckily, Outkast's katana hidden in her arm managed to prevent a fight from breaking out. Mr. Oid came up with his newest persona, Mr. Something Wong, who quickly attracted the ire of local drug dealers by selling literal cargo containers full of narcotics at every one of the concerts that the group protected Outkast at. And at the last concert,
It was good fun.
yeah, it was good fun. A lot of people probably, I think, yeah, every concert ended with the orgy mosh pit. I think is just what happened at that point. The sheer quantity of ecstasy and LSD that was sold would astonish even like the government or like a pharmaceutical company, I think. But yeah, so made the Hermes Johnson a lot of good money. But yeah, so there's that. And the Maofu Clan, everybody's favorite Chinese triads, they've reached out to Mr. Wong and invited him to one of their hideouts, and the following day to discuss terms of a business partnership, because they don't know that Mr. Wong is the same guy that shut up one of their dockyards because they were smuggling people across the border. So yeah. Also between sessions, everybody has spent some of their money, so I can go over that really quickly. Pharaoh bought an LMG that he installed in Ank's jackal body. He also bought an upgrade for his bionic mask. Mr. Oid bought a dart gun for when he need those long-range sedative deployments. Although I suppose he could also put like those bloodlust canisters into the dart gun and make people go insane from across the parking lot. Good fun. Bonus, what did Bonus get? Bonus purchased upgrades for his bionic mask, and he also replaced the holster in his bionic arm because he never used the damn thing. He replaced that with the katana in his arm instead. So, Bonus is, a little bit better equipped. Also, I should bring Bonus back to full health because everybody, and full armor because everybody has repaired themselves. And Nox purchased some eye upgrades. Oh yeah, Pharaoh also purchased a text translator. But most notably, at least in Nox's case, she bought a good old subvocal communicator, which lets her talk on the phone and via radio and stuff without actually having to talk out loud. So that it's basically just like limited telepathy, which is pretty sick nasty if I don't say so myself. So, that being said, the recap out of the way. The scene opens up, I think, on a rainy day in the city of Ryanstown. It is day outside. It's daylight, except that it's still dark out because it always is raining and always overcast because gotta get that sick, nasty, nihilistic dystopia going on, you know. But yeah, so nice rainy noon, I'll say, around noon. Raining, dark, cars are driving down the road. This part of the city in particular, being the Dockyards district, is kind of out of the way of everything else. Not many people live around here, and by that I mean not many people legally live around here, although plenty of people like to squat in warehouses and in alleyways and whatever, wherever else people can find to place their makeshift beds. But in terms of actual residential or commercial buildings, they're pretty scarce. Most of this district is warehouses, factories, garages, distribution facilities, workshops, chop shops, drug labs, all sorts of different places, hydroponics warehouses, featuring, of course, the Colonels. Everybody's favorite gangs. But this warehouse in particular is pretty close to the docks, a few blocks away, so relatively close compared to everything else. The scene kind of opens up staring at the loading dock of this warehouse that kind of faces the main road. And after a few seconds, Mr. Oid's station wagon pulls up to the curb and parks on the side of the road. Now, Mr. Oid, you did say you did enlist the help of Bonus and Pharaoh to attend this meeting. So, would you want them to come in their own vehicles, or would you have picked them up in your station wagon on your way to the warehouse?
Well, seeing as they are enemies of the Maofu Clan, the idea was for them to tail me with their own, modes of transportation. Because I don't want this new persona to be associated with them.
Yes, that what horrible riffraff.
As hard as that might be after the whole concert deal.
Yeah, true. All right. So you have Bonus and Pharaoh tail you. Pharaoh moving on his motorcycle with Ank's quadcopter body kind of hovering above the station wagon to kind of keep an eye over everything. And Bonus in his flying motorcycle, several, probably a good 100+ yards above you. Just kind of, because basically the skyscrapers and stuff, there are sky lanes that parallel the normal road systems. So there are a bunch of flying cars always above you and stuff like that, and they're, the people will throw trash down on the stupid ground walkers and whatever. But yeah, so he's up there. The sky lanes around here are non-existent because very few buildings are tall enough to warrant having sky lanes. So he can just fly around willy-nilly and not give a damn. But yeah, he's hovering above and kind of trailing behind. And you pull up to this warehouse. It looks pretty nondescript. It appears to be 2 stories tall, like most other warehouses around here, maybe 3 stories, with the slanted roofs in it. It is covered in graffiti, as almost every building on ground level in this city is. But in this case, the graffiti is all kind of cohesive and belongs to the same kind of general theme. So there are a bunch of like Chinese dragons in different art styles drawn on the building and like coiling around the corners, stuff like that. There are a bunch of different Chinese characters and also the different iconography belonging to the Chinese culture. And standing in front of the kind of pedestrian door to enter into the warehouse is a large, probably 6 foot plus, big, well muscled Chinese man with a very, 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 very short crew cut, a bunch of Chinese tribal tattoos all over his arms, and he's wearing a nice black sleeveless guinea tee or wife beater or muscle t-shirt, depending on what you feel like calling it. And he just sees you pull up and kind of folds his arms across his chest and waits for you to get out.
All right. So, I'm gonna survey the area real quick before I step out the car.
Sure, you can make a perception check in that case.
That'll be a 6.
A 6. All right. So you can hear. You're an android. So I mean, I guess. Yeah, also you have this ability to smell things. Also because you're like a drug maker, this would probably register pretty easily with you. There is a pretty strong smell of a street drug called Lightyear that we have encountered once previously. Lightyear is essentially just synthetic opium that the Maofu Clan has a monopoly on distributing. And it's pretty good stuff. It's, opium is opium. Except that it's, synthetic, so it's super cheap to make. And it smells very strong of it coming from inside the warehouse. You also pretty quickly clock that, one, this guy sitting out front is armed. He has a pistol tucked into his belt loop. And there's also a pump shotgun leaning against the corrugated metal wall next to him. And around the corner in the alleyway next to this warehouse, you can just make out what looks like a couple of pretty fancy, well-decorated, customized, like street racing motorcycles, like the really compact motorcycles. What else? I guess it probably would also be like a security camera watching the front door in like the loading dock area. That's about it. It's pretty quiet.
All right then. Let's see. One moment, please. All right. So, I step out of the car and I'm gonna approach the muscle T guy.
All right. I assume you are already looking like Mr. Something Wong.
No, actually, I show up looking like Carl Hoppenheim.
Well, in that case, the guard's like, "Oh, Mr. Oppenheimer, pleasure to see you around here again." Step right on in.
But no, yeah, something.
All right. Yeah. So you walk up.
Actually,
and,
he can show up as any of the 7 to 8 people that approached him in the concert. He can show up as the lady. It's like,
the
wait
woman.
a minute.
Wait a minute. I thought you were already inside, miss. Where did you come from?
I'm testing the guards. Knocks him the fuck out.
Test
I
your security.
totally could.
You could.
And as funny as that would be, I think I actually want to play this straight, at least for a little while.
Yeah, leave the scuffed pranksters to
Money.
later. Yeah, well, this is a business transaction, so you gotta want to kind of keep things on the level, at first at least. But yeah. So you walk up as Mr. Wong, and the guard just kind of looks up and down, and you kind of see like he does have a cybernetic eye, and you can see it kind of like flash to show that he is using some kind of augmented reality screen in front of him. And he's kind of like nods to himself, and then he moves to the side and kind of opens the door, and it swings out, and he kind of gestures for you to walk in.
All right. I'm not gonna say anything. I bow very slightly and I proceed in.
Cool. He bows very slightly in response. And you proceed inside. The interior of this building, besides reeking incredibly strong of Lightyear, is decorated to be like a swanky, like mid 1800s Chinese opium den. Unsurprisingly. So there are like the big like cushioned pillows on the ground with like the huge multi like what do they call it? I guess like multi-hosed hookahs in the middle, the huge opium hookahs. And there are, the different like cushioned booths against the walls where people are lounging around, drinking, smoking, eating. And it's very much like a kind of super psychedelic drug den in here. And you kind of walk through, and there is like very like calming, soothing, relaxing instrumental or traditional Chinese folk music playing over a PA system that you don't know. You can't see the speakers, but you can hear the music. And you kind of walk through, and passing several groups of people that are smoking and laughing and having a good time. You're kind of detected by another one of the guards against one of the walls, and he kind of gestures you over, and he leads you through a hanging curtained doorway of like beads, and he brings you through and into a different section of the warehouse that I guess you could only describe as like a throne room. Like it looks like the Chinese imperial throne room, but smaller, and definitely a lot more scuffed because this is a super makeshift gang hideout. So what, for those who are familiar with the layout of Chinese architecture, it is a long hall that is probably like 20-30 feet wide. It's not very large. There is a large 10-foot wide bright red carpet with like a golden inlaid decoration, and it runs the entire length down the center of this hall. And at the very end, against the back wall, there is a little raised like metal platform, and then on top of the little raised dais, there is a throne made of metal, kind of very obviously crudely welded together out of random steel plates these guys managed to yank off of the nearest building or something. But it is still draped in like red fabrics and silk and stuff like that. And seated atop this makeshift throne in very flowing silk red and gold robes is a very old, like super old, talking like 80-year-old, very, very old, 80-year-old Chinese woman, very short, only probably like 5'4", 5'5", And she is just kind of seated on this throne, her legs crossed, hands, fingers interlocked over her lap, waiting there, staring at you as you enter. And there are two super chromed out Chinese guys flanking the throne. And I'm talking like they both have super large industrial strength, bionic hands. They both have the huge ocular implants that are like basically just gigantic microscopes on their faces. And they both have submachine guns kind of hanging across their chests on, little ropes.
All right, cool. I guess I walk up to the throne a little bit. I do a bow, and I say to this person whose name I probably should know, but don't.
Well, you would assume, because this is like, well, I guess it wouldn't be super public information. Bonus would know this, but you might not. You can make me an intelligence check. How about that? To see if you know like the more specifics of the Maofu Clan as a gang.
I get it too.
You think even with your like 7 intelligence, it's still a fail. So no, you don't know who this woman is. She looks important, obviously, and like prestigious, but you don't know who she is.
Well, I guess I'll just go very general then, and my words are, thank you for inviting me here today. I understand there's some business you wish to discuss.
And the old woman, kind of like looks at you, kind of like squints, seemingly looking you over and determining whether or not to be offended by you or not. Because you're a Latino man with stereotypical Asian
Strobe
LED
light head.
Yeah, I mean, what color is your hair right now? let's determine that.
I'm going to go for more subdued, like blue and yellow. I think.
All right, cool.
You should went with like red and yellow, fit the aesthetic.
Oh, actually, yeah, maybe that would be better.
All right, yeah, sure. So you you have your hair match the color of the aesthetic of the building. And the old woman kind of looks at you from her atop her throne, and she's like, yes, thank you very much for coming on such short notice, Mr. Wong. I've been told from some of my subordinates that you've recently started quite the operation of your own, selling some less than legal substances.
Indeed, true.
He's like, well, as I'm sure you are aware, myself and my people here, we specialize in the distribution of certain narcotics. And as she says this, she kind of takes out from like her cleavage, essentially, from beneath her robes, this really long glow stick. And in K4, because Kyle wouldn't know this yet, glow sticks are essentially fancy vapes. They are literally.
Actually, I do remember you talking about this.
Yeah, they're big, like glowing, like rods, like cigar-sized rods, and they put off colored smoke, and you can flavor them or put drugs in them or whatever you want. And this one takes this very, very fancy, like engraved vape pen, essentially, this glowing vape pen, and she kind of puts it in her mouth, and she takes like a really large like drag that you would assume would probably kill a woman of her age under normal circumstances. And she kind of takes this big drag and she takes it out, and she's like, so given our group's association with such narcotics, I assume you understand that we were intrigued to hear that a brand new member of the streets came out swinging, if you will, distributing a cargo container of drugs every couple of weeks.
Indeed, I may be new on the scene here, but elsewhere, I suppose I had connections.
And the old woman kind of like nods very slowly and looks at you, and she's like, "Well, Mr. Wong, uh, you are correct in your assumption that we've asked you here for a business proposition. Uh, you know, we were wondering if you might want to cut a deal with us."
That deal being.
We provide you with plenty of supplies, protection if that is something you require, and then, in exchange for those supplies, you sell our product, and we take a percentage of the profits. And you get your cut as well, obviously.
Hmm, that seems like an amiable agreement.
She's like, good, good, good. She's like, would you know, like, are you planning on selling, on wheeling and dealing at any other concerts, or have those finished for the time being?
No more concerts in the near future, but I'm sure I could seek out other venues to participate in.
And the woman's like, good, good, good. So yes, we heard that that Outkast girl has left the city with her tail between her legs. So it were. And she kind of like laughs, but her laugh is really, I mean, I can't even mimic it. Her laugh is like a smoker's laugh, where it's super like mucusy and awful, and like it sounds like General Grievous, essentially. The tuberculosis laugh. And she's like, yes, well, that being said, we can set you up with however much of our product, light year, the kids are calling it these days. However much light year you think you can sell in a timely manner.
Very well
She's like, good. She's like, you may speak with, my lovely assistant here to work out the details. And she kind of just like snaps her fingers, and the woman that talked to you at the concert walks out from another beaded curtain doorway next to the wall, near the throne, and she walks out with the same kind of tablet in her arms, and approaches you. She's like, "Good afternoon, Mr. Wong. So we meet again."
indeed. Good afternoon to you too.
And she's going to work out the details of that with you. In the meantime, Knox, what are you doing? What are you getting yourself up to now that you're out of a job?
Finding a new one.
All right.
I need money. I have a goal in my mind right now. I need money.
All right. So, where are you looking for a job?
I'll either go. Options being, probably the mercenary bar, because out of character, I don't know much where, and I don't feel like spending money to create a contact just for jobs.
All right. Yeah. So you remember when Outkast had you take her to the Condemned, the mercenary bar where you guys met Bonus, Pharaoh, and Fixer for the first time. So you take a drive out to the Condemned. I mean, your house isn't too far away from it. I can pull up the lovely street map for the viewers at home. So let's see, where is... I think this is it. Yeah, so you are, if I get my fancy ruler out, you are like 8 miles in a straight line away, but you're not in a straight line, so we'll up that to like 12 miles away. So you are like, half an hour, well, yeah, like a half an hour's drive, 20-minute drive away from the Condemned. And you pull up, park out front. Do you have a bike, right? Or do you have a car? Oh, also, I forgot to ask at the beginning. What are you guys doing with that black sedan you stole? I probably should have asked that much earlier, but...
I mean, if no one's taking it, I'll definitely, fuck, then I gotta create a contact for it. I don't mind spending 1,000 for, like, would the name change in Cyberpunk for people who trick out cars?
No, there's still, like, mechanics.
Both illegal and legally?
Well, I mean, there are, like, still chop shops where you can go to get, like, the illegal, like, if you want to put an LMG on your car, you go there.
I mean, as well, if I'm being honest, it's a nice sedan.
It is a nice
from
sedan.
last time I remember.
Yeah, I mean, the back of it, the back seats are covered in blood because Pharaoh cut that guy's throat wide open with a titanite knife last time. So besides the smell of iron and the red sanding on that fine black leather, other than that, yeah, it's a pretty nice, like, I mean, I think the equivalent probably would be like, not a Mercedes, but like the tier right below a Mercedes. So it's still a pretty nice car. Like a Chevrolet.
I mean, I'll spend $1,000 to create like a contact with a, I guess, chop shop mechanic guy. Just in case I ever want to put an LMG in the back of a sedan.
Cool. So you roll your 1d4 and I roll my 1d4.
Sick. Let's see if I'm lucky. I'm not lucky. I got a 3 this time.
Got a 3? I got a 2.
Yeah, I think he asked for something more.
Yeah.
Besides the 1,000.
I think he asked for either a job or money. I forget which is which. I think a 2 might be a job.
I am looking. I think it's an extra 1,000. If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Let me see. It's below here. Yes. Here we go. So on a 3, yes, you use an additional 1,000 colors to provide whatever service you want them to provide. And I rolled a 2. So you and the contact have never met. So you know of this person, but haven't actually, which makes sense. You didn't own a car before now. So you wouldn't have a reason to go there.
I think I did own a car because that was one of the rules. An apartment and a car. And I was like, well, I got both. But now I have 2 cars.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So what do you want this NPC to look like, to act like, to sound like? Where do you want them, chop shop?
I want the chop shop to be... I want it to be the type of mechanic shop that's like, police pass by, and it's like, yeah, seems pretty legit. And then, inside they're like, so you want an LMG? Yeah.
All right, so you want to be a legit mechanic shop that also has, like, the criminal aspect to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Neighborhood preference, should it do you want it to be like near a dead zone, near the corporate sector? Should it be a really nice place? Should it be a crappy place?
Bro, let's make this a freaking Chevy DMV type of place.
Okay, so like a corporate affiliated. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'll put
corporate affiliated shop.
I mean,
head owner, Hans.
Oh God.
Maldoan Clips.
All right, let me pull up your sheet so I can add this contact. Let's see.
That's what it is.
So his name is Hans. What was his middle name?
Maldoan. Don't ask me how to spell it because I don't even know.
I'm putting Maldone because that's just phonetic.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then Clips, I assume, would be like Eclipse,
Eclipse
but without
is
the E, like
no, not
CLIPSE.
eclipse. If I said eclipse, that's my bad. Or if it's no, like straight up clips, CLIPS.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that would be his like. I was gonna make that his last name. That's like his, I don't know, street name. It's like, yo, you going to Clips? It's like, yeah.
Street name. Okay, that works. And then is his last name Maldone then?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Hans Maldone. He is a mixed.
Yeah, German Italian man.
German. Yeah.
I mean, he's got 2/3 of the accent right there. So, all right. So he operates a corporate affiliate, which is a really odd combination. A corporate affiliated mechanic shop that doubles as an illegal chop shop. Okay, cool. Interesting combination, but all right, we'll run with it. So, do you want to?
A 3 and a 2.
I mean, yeah. So, do you want to go see him right now, or do you just want to have him in your back pocket in case you need him?
I won't use the sedan right now, so I'll have him in the back pocket. So keep that like 2,000 off, and I'll figure out how I'm gonna deal with that because I definitely want a lot of change with that. Because if I just walked around with the sedan, they go, wait a minute, that sedan kind of looked familiar. Wasn't John using that sedan? So,
yeah, true.
yeah, definitely gonna need him, but I'm not gonna use the sedan. I'm pretty sure I bought a car, not an expensive car, but I bought a car. Nah.
You did, yeah. You bought a basic car, so it can be whatever kind you want. It could be an SUV, it could be a van, it could be a normal sedan, or it could be a sports car in theory, but it could be a pretty cheap sports car.
We're doing a Chevy Cruze.
Cool. My dad had that car several years ago. So it's like a sci-fi, a pretty basic standard sci-fi, just good car for urban environments. All right, pretty basic, pretty unassuming too for a beefy alien bounty hunter like yourself.
Hey, look, as long as they don't notice what I'm carrying, they just think I am a woman in a car.
I mean,
as far as I'm concerned, they're the ones that's gonna get jumped.
Exactly. All right, yeah. So you had that contact in your back pocket. So you head to the Condemned. You park out front, and you make your way through the decrepit maintenance alleyway, and into the bar itself. And you walk in, and the captain, which is the owner of the bar, he's there, and he's kind of cleaning off the bar. He appears to be cleaning with like a dirty rag or like old t-shirt or something, wiping off like a big pool of blood from the bar counter, and there is notably like a big like knife gouge in the table, like somebody stabbed a knife to somebody's hand or something like that, and it bled all over the place. So he's wiping the counter down, and the bar is pretty quiet. There's still people in here, but it's not as like the nighttime and the early morning or when it generally gets to be more active. So you walk in, and he's like, I see you're back. You did not bring in that little girl here anymore, are you?
Nope.
And he kind of nods. Like, you need a job then?
She left.
Like, oh yeah, I think I heard about that.
Need a job.
She's like, well, if you're looking for a job, and he kind of like looks around the bar really quick. I'm gonna roll a random encounter to see who is, what random thing might happen while you're here. Assuming I roll something that even
just find a random person. They're like, I need 30 pounds of cocaine, but in 12 different crates.
I rolled an 03. Wow, unfortunately my iPad has decided to restart for whatever bloody reason. So I'm going to have to pull this up on my PC.
I hope I don't have to kill someone. I know I bought ammunition, but I kind of feel like killing someone in the bar right now.
Probably not in the bar, but nearby, sure. It doesn't really apply here, unfortunately. So, let's see. In terms of like a quick, random job, I think the captain, the bartender, he's like, well, I don't see really anybody around here just yet, but I mean, he's like, I mean, hey, you were in here with, Bonus and those boys, right? So just find them. They're probably off doing something if they're not here.
Sounds easier said than done.
He shrugs at you.
I could do one of two things here. Either wait in the bar or go find a job.
I mean, you can just like, chillax and get like a drink or something if you felt like it, but, up to you.
True. I guess I'll hope that they'll just be here. Like, eventually show up. I'll just sit around idly in the bar until like either they come or someone with a job comes, because right now I don't know where else to find a job. I'm really close to the money I want for something, even though I might spend 2,000.
Well, I mean, you're not doing it that bad for money. You have way more money than Bonus does right now.
I plan to buy
Bonus
a cast system.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're saving up to buy a personal energy shield. So,
Yeah. So definitely, I'm almost there.
Yeah, you're getting pretty close.
Oh yes. Yeah, I'll just wait. We can cut back over to Xavier.
All right, so we cut back to Xavier, and yeah, so you're fighting one another. Not fighting one another. You're you're just finished talking about the specifics of like the numbers and getting the shipments ready and stuff. And the assistant asks where she should have her lackeys drop the crates off.
My apartment is on the edge of like the bad part of town, correct?
Your apartment is, let me count. Your apartment is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your apartment is like 4.5, 5 blocks away from a dead zone. Yeah, like a lawless, walled off zone of like anarchy zone, essentially.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll just have him. Actually, what kind of buildings are there near me? Because I could just have him drop it off at like a random warehouse or parking garage or something like that.
Near your apartment or near where you like literally currently are?
Near my place.
Near your place? Your part of town is mostly residential, but there would be like, I mean, there probably would be a parking garage somewhere around.
Huh?
Cool. All right. So you tell them to send the stuff to this parking garage. It's like a couple blocks from your apartment. And the assistant's like, all right, thank you very much, Mr. Wong. Happy business. Good business to you. And she kind of like keeps tapping on her like tablet with like stylus pen, and then she kind of walks back over to the old woman and whispers something in her ear for a few seconds. And then when she's done, the old woman kind of like shoos her away, essentially. And the old woman kind of like looks at you, and she's like, "Now, Mr. Wong, before you leave, there's only one bit of business I feel we need to attend to. Is that all right with you?"
Of course.
She's like, "Lovely, lovely. So my subordinates have made me aware that you are at least somewhat related to a certain mercenary that goes by the name of Bonus. Is this correct?"
I suppose we were under the same employer during my last job.
She's like, "So you aren't otherwise engaged with him at all? You're not partners or friends or anything of the sort?" And she kind of like, is very slyly staring at you.
No, I really don't know much about him.
Make a charisma check to lie through your teeth.
Cool. And this is where my charisma
Boy.
character thing comes in. Can I use social analyzation protocol?
Cool. Let me remind myself what that does. So that does analyze the target or conversation and determine the best ways to increase the chances of persuasion. So yeah, give me a perception check to see if you get yourself advantage.
8.
Epic. So you have advantage on this charisma check.
Ooh, I got a 9 and a 10.
Oh my god. Okay. So you say like, "No, I don't know anything about him," and the woman's like, "Really? Well, that's kind of odd. Bonus is kind of a big deal in this town, but I guess you are new around here, so I won't hold it against you." But you're kind of like, "Well, that's all I needed to know from you, Mr. Wong. Pleasure doing business with you. Have a lovely day." And she kind of like gestures back towards the door, and the guard that brought you in here kind of takes a couple steps forward to kind of usher you out.
Cool. I do a bow before I leave, and I, dip out of there before they start asking me more questions about my associations.
All right. So you are ushered back through the opium den, the warehouse, and brought back outside. And you get like a message from the assistant, who just says like, the supplies will be delivered tomorrow at so and so time at the address you provided. Pick it up and distribute it, and then deliver the. I guess she'd say that there's going to be an attendant, a gangster essentially, to receive their cut of the pay. In like a week or whatever after the drugs arrive.
All right.
So you've got a week essentially to sell, like a few kilos of light year, presumably. Yeah. So you're standing outside. You can hear Ankh, the little quadcopter robo drone, kind of hovering above you, and the guard outside appears to be kind of like looking up at the sky, kind of trying to see, what's making that annoying buzzing sound, but he doesn't seem to be giving it any actual effort, so he doesn't seem to care. And then, you can also hear, obviously, like Pharaoh's motorcycle in the distance driving around, And you also see standing, leaning against another warehouse across the street is Bonus. He's just chilling there, staring at the guard across the street.
All right. Well, I take a detour so as to not come even remotely close to him as I get out of this place.
Cool. So as you get in your car and you drive away and kind of take an opposite route, Bonus, he gets up, stops leaning on the wall, and he kind of walks back over to his hover bike, and he hovers off in another direction, and the sound of Pharaoh's chopper motorcycle fades out into the distance. So, anything? Is there anything else that needs to be done before we time skip to the next job?
Can you tell me the precise details of the agreement I made with them?
Sure. So you probably, their default asking information, the default price, would say that they would probably want 60% of the money, while then you get the extra, the remaining 40%.
I mean, good enough for free shit they're giving me, essentially.
Cool. So Lightyear is sold for 100 collars a dose. And I'll say that the crate that you get is probably 100 doses, just to make things easier. So you get 40 collars for every dose, essentially, which is still pretty good money for 100 doses. Still 4,000 4,000 collars right there. We can sell it all in a week.
Just sell it during the job. It's like if you're idling, just go to some random guy, be like, "Yo, you want some Lightyear?"
Would you be interested in some opium, my good man?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, is there any other? Well, Now I'm trying to think how I could connect this job to.
I never meet up with them within that day, by the way, I would have probably just gone to the chop shop and done some shit there. We can do that.
All right, so you want to go to the? Well, I don't know if where Oid's going to go after the opium den scene. So if he chooses to go to the condemned, he can go there. But if not, then
Well, I guess I tell Pharaoh and Bonus, alright, you guys can fuck off or whatever, and I go, I guess, to the condemned to, I guess, scope out potential clients and potential places where clients might be.
All right. So you head over to the condemned, and Bonus is also going to head to the condemned because he has nothing better to do. But Pharaoh's going to head to his apartment and keep working on Ankh. Keep putting that big LMG into the dog's back. So Nox, you're sitting at the bar in the condemned, and you've been idling there on your phone or whatever, listening to the awful music, the really old rock and roll music that the captain chooses to play over the bar speakers. And you sit there for probably 2 hours, and just as you're about to be all right, that's it, I'm leaving, Bonus walks through the door by himself for now, anyway.
He's one of the last people I wanted to see first.
Wow.
Because the fucking well, maybe he doesn't have hard feelings. Maybe he has needles stabbed into Outkast more than me for those comments he made last time. But
Yeah,
I'm
he was more headed out for Outkast. He didn't really care about you were just the other end of the joke. It wasn't you were making the jokes, you know.
Oh God.
So he walks in
Yeah.
and he and the captain's like, one of my favorite customers, and Bonus just kind of ignores him and keeps walking, and he takes a seat in the group's usual like booth against the far wall of the bar that is unoccupied except for now Bonus sitting there.
Uh, uh, I'll wave to Bonus. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, sure. I'll walk over to Bonus and like start a conversation. I'll be like, "Hey," or no, that sounds like I want trouble. I'll be like, "Sup?"
Yeah, you just draw your sword and you just cut him down.
He can do that now. He has one in his arm.
Yeah, you guys could have a nice fencing match in the middle of this mercenary bar.
We can. That's true.
Yeah, I think actually like he probably would be doing that because this is a brand new implant. So you see him like as you walk over, he is so his blade is because you know about the aesthetic in cyberpunk. He has like his bionic arm now has like a kind of big like bump on the forearm, and he's sitting in this booth. He's kind of like moving his arm around, and when you get to the booth, you see that when he like moves his arm, this big blade extends from his forearm and like over the top of his hand, and like he's like retracting and extending back and forth over and over again. He's just like obsessed, staring at it go in and out of his arm. and you walk up and he's like, oh, and he stops messing with his arm, and he's like, so you gonna be around here more often now or something?
Yeah, I'm looking for money, jobs,
And he nods and he's
and
like,
Captain
yeah.
over there suggested. Yeah, give me a second. Captain suggested. He's like, well, worked well with the group last time. You could just go find them, and I'm like, find them.
Bonus nods and he's like,
So I just waited here.
yeah. Bonus is like, all right, yeah. Well, you know, you can. I guess you can. You know, have a seat. He kind of like gestures to the opposite side of the booth from him, and he's like, yeah, really, just a waiting game.
Hmm.
And you know, you take a seat, look across from Bonus. He just
Yeah,
keeps
do that.
like you can hear him like very quietly just like moving the sword in and out of his arm, but he's not trying to make it obvious. Like under the table, he doesn't want to be embarrassed because he's like getting used to his implant still. So he's just like very quietly trying to hide the fact that he's moving a sword around under the table.
Oh, like do a little throat clear, like. So how's the new sword?
And you hear it like retract and not come back out again, and he's like, oh, yeah, I just got it this morning, so kind of get used to it. And he kind of like
Let
brings
me
his
call it.
his
I'm
arm
gonna.
like on top of the table and kind of like you know rests it there, and then he kind of like twitches and the sword extends. He's like, Jesus Christ, and he had to retract again, and he's like, yeah, so getting used to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and be like, well, I don't blame you. I'm trying to get used to this too. Would I have the numbers from when we partied up, or would it just all be different? At least I'm expecting Kairos to be different, but everyone
Like
else.
cell phone numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have bonuses. You would have Pharaohs. Yeah, you'd have everybody's because you talk to everybody over, you know, radio.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna do like the sub vocals thing,
Mm.
and, like not speak at all, and just do that. I mean, I'm just trying to get used to this.
Yeah, yeah. So you just like vocally call bonus, and you see him like take out his cell phone, or he has his mask. You see him like kind of like cock his head to the side and like tap the side of his mask, and he's like extend the call with you, and you hear him say twice because you can hear him out loud, and then in your head you hear him say, "That's kind of fancy, huh?"
Hell yeah. But sometimes I accidentally call my mother.
You just hear like in the background like, "Oh."
It's like, shit.
He's like, conference
Ma.
call. Bonus hangs up.
It's like, Ma, not right now. I'm with my friends.
He's like, okay, sweetie, you have fun. And you just hear her like lifting weights in the background because she's a Kodian and they're like super jacked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just like end the call. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, my mom's going for her like 12. I don't know the highest Dan, but I'll at least say like 6th Dan in her black belt.
You just hear like smacking sounds from outside of the phone. Just my arm. And Bonus is like nods and he's like, good for her.
Yeah, my mom's cool like that.
Under the mask, Bonus is like wide-eyed. You can't tell that from the mask, but you know, the audience knows the dramatic irony of it. But yeah,
That's
so
good. Oh, thank God it wasn't awkward.
yeah, thank God it wasn't awkward. And then 5 minutes later, Mr. Oid walks through the door, and the captain kind of looks over and he's like, "Oh, actually, would Oid walk in as something Wong, or would you change back to somebody else?"
No. Actually, no. I would go in as just default
Robot man.
businessman Oid.
Default robo businessman. Okay. So you walk in and Captain's like, "Oh, if it isn't the strong and silent type. How are you, fixer buddy?"
I'm doing quite well. I found myself a new employer. Good times.
He's like, it's like, speaking of employer, it's like I think some of your buddies are over in your usual spot waiting for a job.
Oh. And I will walk over to the booth.
Yeah, Bonus and Nox, surprisingly enough, are seated there, awkwardly staring at each other, and you can hear the sound of metal scraping against metal underneath the table coming from Bonus's arm.
All right, and I guess I walk up and I go, how are the two lovebirds? Enjoying a moment of silence?
If I had a drink, I'd probably like choke on it because I'd be sipping it for comedic.
The table suddenly like jolts to the side as a
Okay,
metal
thank
blade
you.
stabs into the table. Just Bonus is like, yes, if it isn't my favorite identity thief.
I do a very awkward smile. Almost uncanny, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Almost robotic, like,
Well, he is like default right now, so he's just his usual robot man in a suit and trench coat.
Well, in any case, suppose I have a question for you, Bonus.
You hear the sound of metal retracting back into metal, and then the table, goes back to its normal position. And he's like, "You do you? What do you need?"
You're very acquainted with the city, are you not?
Lived here my whole life.
Very good. Well then, perhaps would you be privy to the locations of any druggies, drug dens, etc., etc.?
And he kind of like chuckles to himself, and he's like, "Yeah, there are places like that just about everywhere. Most clubs, nightclubs, bars. There are legal smoke dens and smoke shops and dispensaries, and then you've got like restaurants that have stuff like that, and they're everywhere. Just gotta look in the right alleyways." And Bonus is like, yeah. So I assume that meeting with your new friends went well then.
Indeed, it did. Although they did ask about you, so
And he laughs.
could have gone.
He's like, yeah, well, nobody had to die, so there's that.
Well, in any case, I will leave you to your whatever lovers do, and I walk away to go talk to someone else in the bar.
Cool. Who are you gonna go talk to?
Honestly, like probably anyone. At this point, I'm just looking around for people who look like
They would do
that
drugs.
might be either high or withdrawing.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So you just start walking around, being like, "You, good sir or madam, would you possibly be interested in purchasing narcotics?" And just like,
Alright, you wanna would be full psyop? It's just he marks those people as one guy. Returns is the drug dealer. It's like, oh yes.
yeah,
Want some?
Well, I'm obviously going to have to do some public selling as some Ting Wong. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, so yeah, those drugs we gave you, they just kind of disappeared. And I'm just like, yeah, here's the money though.
And they're like, "Whoa."
Uh,
Well, it'll probably be like, "Oh, we see you have like your own network of dealers or whatever," and they wouldn't assume that you're a magic man or something who just did all those drugs and is just paying them money.
you're super rich.
Yeah.
Oh my
Here's
God.
$10,000. I smoked the whole kilo of opium.
But you don't make any money. Oh, but I got drugs.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I make $40 on the dose, so I still lose 60, but hey, it's worth it for that sweet high. Am I right? The ultimate psyop.
Honestly, can you imagine if that's what I was doing? I was taking all 100 doses and I smoked them in a week.
God, Jesus.
Oh. And then each
I mean, it'd
time
be
you
a pretty
try to
sick
speed
discount,
run,
but
each time you try to speed run, how much you can take in a week.
Every time he's like, I want 200 doses, and you can start ODing because trying to speed run so many drugs at once. Oh my God. Yeah, so you start, doing your thing, walking around as a default Mr. Oid, trying to figure out if people will be willing to purchase any kind of drugs from you. And most people that you ask are like, sure, I guess, because all you have to say is that you work for the Maofu Clan, and they're immediately like, oh, well, in that case, then they know it's legit.
But would he... Wait, is it just bonus
Well-
they're against, or is it he also wanted?
Well,
well,
there
I
are...
don't want Oid to be associated with the clan.
Okay, so yes,
So-
you're like going to like the bathroom and then come back out as some Ting Wong and start.
I think all the druggies would be like, oh, that's pretty cool, a drug dealer. And then the captain would be like, wait a hot second.
Well, yeah, I mean the captain probably would be like, hey, who are you? Oddly young, old-looking man with LED hair.
And I'm just gonna look both ways and smile and shrug.
How'd you get in here? Don't worry about it.
Captain just like, all right, well, don't cause any trouble, I guess. And he just goes back to wiping the blood off the counter.
Still?
I give him a short
a lot of
bow
blood.
and I walk up to go find some potential customers.
All right, yeah, you start to find some potential customers. And after like a half an hour of telling people like, yeah, if you want product, come to this garage, tomorrow night or whatever, or like tonight or something, and I will provide you with the supplies. And most people like you ask are like, yeah, sure. Do you freely advertise your affiliation with the Maofu Clan, or do you just offer drugs?
Hold it just in case.
not gonna be like gloating about it, but I will mention it like here or there.
Okay, well, yeah, like, I guess if somebody is like being hesitant about it, you're like, it's legit. I work for the clan, and they're like, oh well, in that case,
Doesn't he have a badge to show that too?
he does. Yeah, he has the Lotus badge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you wheel and deal for a while, and about like another half an hour or so, it's now like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The captain does like the finger whistle, the loud finger whistle thing, and is like, bonus, new chick, get over here.
Okay, positive.
Cool. So you and bonus walk up, and the captain's like, all right, I just got a message. Okay, I just got a message, that I think would entice all of you, you three. He's like, but I don't know where Fixer went, but I'm not gonna ask questions. He says, like, looking around, side eyeing, paranoid. And at the same time that you guys are being spoken to, Mr. Something Wong, you walk over to like a different booth, and there are like a few people seated there, and they're all staring at like a tablet that's propped up on its side, and they're all watching the news, and they're all kind of like, oh my god, whoa, what the heck? And they're all kind of like,
Outkast died.
This just in, international superstar killed in a freak accident by her agent.
I knew it was gonna happen eventually.
No. So that'd be so mean. No, but so you walk up and they're all watching the news, and you see on the news talking about a massacre that happened at a local nightclub the night previous. And I don't remember if Cairo told you about the affiliation with this bar or not, but the massacre happened at a bar called the River's Dicks, which is a gay bar located south of the corporate sector. It is near the Pleasure District, as you would assume with a name like that. Yeah, because you weren't there at that session, but Bonus was there and Pharaoh was there, and that was where they had the first run-in with the Crimson Crescent, because they like tried to extort the owner and stuff. But yeah, so you get that clip of that they listened to this news thing, saying that there was a massacre last night at a local gay bar and stuff, and it left like 30 people dead and dozens injured. The owner has been hospitalized, and police are investigating, but have no leads at this time. Yada yada yada. And the people you approach are all like, "Oh my god, I used to go there." And like one of them's like, "Yeah, I remember when one of my favorite one of my favorite internet celebrities, Pharaoh, when he performed there, a few weeks ago, like a month ago." And all like they're talking amongst themselves as you approach to to solicit drugs. But yeah, do you have any reaction to that information, or do you just stick to the script?
I mean, like, LMAO, bunch of humies get wrecked, I guess. I don't care.
All right.
mean, maybe I'll... Actually, no, Pharaoh probably will have seen it himself, so I don't need to contact him.
Yeah. So you guys. So Pharaoh's doing that, and then back at the bar, Nox and Bonus, you both are sitting there, and the captain's like, "So I got a message, all right? I got a message from what's his name?" And he kind of like you see him kind of do something in AR. He kind of like puts on like a Dragon Ball Z style scouter, like the little singular monocle lens, and he kind of like fiddles with something in AR, and he's like, I got a call from some guy named what's his name? His name is I got a call from this dude, right? His name was Elrin Drav. He said that Bonus and Pharaoh would know who he was, but Pharaoh's not here, so I just kind of forwarded the message over to him remotely. And Bonus is like, yeah, I know who that guy is. I remember him. And the captain's like, yeah. Well, he gave me a call, and he said that he would like to hire you guys for a job. And he kind of turns to Knox, and he's like, he didn't say that he wanted you to be there, but I mean, you can show up anyway. I guess you're affiliated with Bonus here, so I don't think he'll say no.
All right.
And the captain's like, yeah, and he just kind of messages you both like all three of you get an address sent to you by the captain, and it is the address for the local hospital. And the captain tells Bonus and Knox, he's like, all right, you guys head there. He said that when you guys get there, ask the front desk to see him, and they'll bring you up to see him. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Fixer, you also get that message as you are finishing up your solicitation with that group of news watchers.
Cool.
Yeah. So, do you guys head to the hospital right away? Do you go do something else? Do you, I don't know, just go back and sit down and keep waiting there, ignore the job altogether?
I'll be honest. I really thought, because I was looking at the job mods before before the session. For some reason, I just thought an incident was gonna happen where like a bunch of people died, but there were bite marks on their necks. I'm like, oh no, a vampire gang.
Yeah, there is a vampire gang. I just haven't put them in the in the setting yet, but there definitely would be one of crazy, weird cyber vampire goth cultists.
Oh yeah. Um, I mean, I don't know who leads, so I'll just look to I guess the other two. He's not. No, he's in the.
He's in like,
uniform. So I'll just look
yeah.
to Bonus and be like, yeah. So I'll look to Bonus and be like, well, we can wait until after he's done with his work. I gesture, like head tilt a bit, I guess, and then I'm like, or we can just check it out now and meet up sometime later with Ord.
Bonus is like, well, I don't have anything better to do, so I'm just gonna head there now. And he's like, and I assume that Pharaoh will also be there, but Oid can show up when he feels like it, essentially.
Okay. Well, I need to get affiliated with this person anyway, so it'd be really weird if I didn't show up with Bonus. So I'm just gonna head with Bonus.
All right. Mr. Oid, are you going to stick around and continue attempting to sell drugs, or are you going to act on this job information immediately?
I mean, I'll check in with the other guys, and if they're going, I'm going.
You check in with Pharaoh. Pharaoh is emotionally distraught, it would seem, because he has a very personal connection with the club and with the owner and stuff. It was like the first legit performance he ever did. So he has a sentimental attachment to this gay bar, despite being not gay. So he is like, yeah, I'm already like halfway there. he's speeding to get there. And Bonus is like, yeah, I'm on my way. And he's like, Knox is following me there, like a weirdo. Alrighty. So I assume then that you'll head over as well. So all four of you, I'll say, arrive at more or less the same time. Although like you guys arrive and Pharaoh is kind of waiting out front, kind of pacing back and forth, in front in front of the doors. He's kind of like muttering to himself and generally seeming nervous. And Knox, you would recognize this hospital because it's the hospital that your contact works at.
I was gonna say, I was like,
Yeah. This hospital is pretty. I can mark it on the map too because you would have access to this information. It's pretty close to the corporate sector because obviously it's a corporate branch technically. So yeah, it's it's pretty big as well. It's a sizable like complex. It's a full blown hospital.
Wait, so someone else also knows the contact for LSSR?
No, you guys were just given the address here by the captain who told you that this lead for this job told you to come here.
Alright.
Yeah, so you guys pull up. Pharaoh is looking rather nervous and kind of distraught as you guys walk up. And he's like, by the time you guys got here, it's like I've been waiting here for like 10 minutes.
I shrug. I don't own a trick-down motorcycle or a flying car.
And Bonus is like, yeah, I do own a flying motorcycle. I just don't care. he just like brushes past and walks back in, and Pharaoh obviously is insulted by that. But doesn't say anything about it because he's too busy, too afraid for his quote unquote friend's life. So all of you walk into the hospital, and as always, Pharaoh takes the lead, and he walks up. He like speed walks up to the front desk, and he slams his hand on the table, and he talks to the receptionist, and he's like, I'm here to visit Mr. Drav. I heard that he's here, and this receptionist is like, oh, you guys must be the. And she kind of like looks up, and you see her kind of like move her gaze to each of you, and she's like, Mr. Drav only said there would be 3 of you.
I'm new. Obviously. I'm part of the group. He doesn't know me.
And the nurse is like, well, this is.
I'll side glance Pharaoh, and I'll be, I'll just look at him like kind of weirdly, like, what? Is she?
And Pharaoh's like, yeah, she's with us. She's a new recruit to the gang. And the woman's like, all right, well, I'll make Mr. Drav aware, and you guys can go on up. She's like, elevator 4, first hallway on your left, room 308, 5th floor. And you guys follow her directions and head to the 5th floor. And you guys, find, open this like sliding. The whole hospital is like, it's a hospital. It smells very strongly of like ethanol and rubbing alcohol, and the walls and floors and the ceilings are all very bright white, like metal and like plastic, and it's almost like offensively bright in here, like everywhere. And you kind of go to the right room, and you guys walk up, and the door slides open, and this is like one of, not like a VIP area, but it's still like the residential area, if you will. Like if you're put in these rooms if you're going to be here for a while. And you guys walk inside this hospital room, with Pharaoh leading, and there is a few chairs. The room is decorated like an apartment, essentially. There's like a little kitchenette area, There is some chairs. There's a main hospital bed. All the different beeping wires and, the heart rate monitor and all that stuff. The room is a little bit dimmer in here than it is in the hallway. And lying down in the hospital bed is a mid to late 30s, maybe early 40s. The absolute oldest, really can't tell. White guy. And he has like breathing tubes in his body. He's got a bunch of different like IVs. He's got like bandages all over his torso, around his head, across his face. His right eye is just gone. Like it's an empty socket. He is missing his right hand, and he's missing his like left leg from the knee down, and they're all bandaged up. And he is like rough. Like whatever happened to this poor sap, like nearly killed him. Like he's even like through the what little of his skin you can see is covered in bruises, and he's got like casts around like on his left arm that's still intact and stuff like that. He's just like somebody messed this dude up. And all of you enter, and a very strained voice kind of emanates from the bandaged man, and he's like, thank you all for coming to help me. And he's like, sorry to meet some of you on such short, under such circumstances. And he kind of like tries to gesture towards Nox and Oid, but literally can't move. And obviously Pharaoh's like, oh my god. He's like, Jesus. He's like, what happened to you, man? And Mr. Trav is like, oh, well, he's like, you guys saw on the news, right? The massacre at my bar last night.
Nope.
He looks at you and blinks a couple times, and he's like, well, and Pharaoh's like, yeah, I saw
audio
it.
of something similar.
Yeah, and
but otherwise, no.
He's like, yeah, I told Captain to fill you in, but I guess he didn't. Stupid old man. And then Pharaoh's like, I saw the message, the news feed when I got up and whatever, and, all this stuff. And Drav's like, yeah, well, last night, these guys, these like dozen dudes in heavy armor with like machine guns, they just kicked the door of my bar down and opened fire on the place, killed 30 people or whatever, and luckily they didn't kill my cool bartender, because the bartender
everything now my cool bartender.
Because Bonus and Pharaoh remember the bartender, because the bartender has 4 arms. He has 4 bionic arms, and he uses them to do like cool drink mixing tricks, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So Jared's like, yeah, my bartender, he still took a couple bullets when they barged inside, and he tried to hit them with the shotgun, but he missed because he has 4 arms and he's not good with guns. So he's still alive. He's in the hospital. He's a couple of rooms down, I think. But anyway, so these guys, right? They kicked my door of my club down, and they shut the place up, and then they shot my bartender, and they kicked the door to my office down, and they did this to me. And he kind of like limply moves his shoulders because this is the only part of his body he can still reliably use. And he's like, so I'm going to be in here for like a few weeks. They have to put in a bionic eye. They got to put in a bionic hand, bionic leg. So, I'm going to be here. Anyway, he's like, fellas and new woman, who are you? He's kind of confused. He's like, huh?
He just called me Nox.
He's like, well, I'm Elrin Drav. I'm owner of owner of owner of the River's Dicks, local bar. You heard of it? No.
No.
Ah.
Real cut-in though. I don't want to be a dick, but part of me's thinking of like getting a favor from this guy by offering him the assistance of one of my contacts.
You could do that, since your doctor doesn't work here.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's not dying, but he's kind of worse for wear. I'm like, hey, not right now. I'll wait until everyone leaves. Actually, I'll do that later.
All right. Yeah. So he's like, all right. Well, yeah, I'm Elrin Drab. Nice to meet you. And then he turns to Oid, and he's like, Pharaoh told me about you, but I never met you in person. So good to finally meet you.
I'll give him a little wave. Likewise.
And he's like, but anyway, I think I'm boys. I'm kind of in trouble. All right, I'm gonna be real honest. And I'm not even in trouble because of this. And he kind of like moves his left arm and he kind of points to the horrible injuries he sustained. He's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. This sucks. This sucks a lot. It sucks more than me on the weekends if you get my drift. But this I can afford to fix this. I got some insurance. He's like, but the insurance for my bars was gonna kill me. And he's like, you don't understand, all right, boys. You don't understand. They're gonna have to take my organs to get me out of debt. All right, okay. And you're like, I don't know how much any of you knows about running an establishment in the lovely world we live in. All right, but insurance companies might as well be loan sharks, but legal. All right, they're legal loan sharks. I'm telling you. And like, and these guys
make a contact with a tax.
Yeah, for an insurance company. And he's like, these guys, these bunch of Galoombas. All right, they're extorting me essentially. They said that the 30 people that died in my bar. All right, all those people and their families and their insurance companies are suing me for the funerary costs. They're blaming me because they died on my property, and they claim that the attack was targeted because of me and whatever. So they're suing me.
So we gotta kill them.
And he's like, well, no, all right, look, I'm gonna have to pay like several million collars unless I can find out and prove who actually did the massacre, so they can sue those guys instead of suing me. They gotta find a different scapegoat. All right. And right now, I've got about a week before I run out of time. So I'm willing to pay you guys a chunk of the insurance money, assuming you guys succeed, which will be 10,000 collars for each of yous, and free VIP access to my club for life. All right, all of yous. I know.
Gay bar.
Well, yeah, I know you guys aren't exactly, don't swing that direction, and he kind of points to.
That's awesome.
He kind of points to Knox. He's like, I mean, I don't know how you swing, lady, but you guys can still get free drinks or whatever. I guess drinks and we still hold like DJs and stuff like that, live music every once in a while. He's like, but look, all right, do this, and I'll pay you part of the insurance payout, and you get free VIP access for life. But I'm begging you here. I tried to call my usual guys, but they were too afraid to do it because a squad of heavily armed thugs bursts into your bar with like machine guns and destroys the place. It kind of deters retaliation.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh turns to all of you, and he's like, "We gotta do this, guys. All right, we have to, gotta do it for poor old Elrin here. All right, he's a good friend of mine."
And I will go. Indeed, and I'm in it. And in my head, I'm going, I'm only doing this because it pays well.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah. I think
same.
so the same time that you think that Bonus says it out loud, he's like, "The pay's all right." he just nods. He's like, "Yeah, I can't argue with that." Like he's like, I could almost buy another arm blade with that money. Just, 2 bionic arms, you say? But yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Josh's like, so you guys you're gonna do it? Are you gonna take the job even if it gets you guys murdered because there's this gang of heavily armed cyborgs with machine guns decides to hunt you guys down too?
This is a lot of new information after accepting a job.
You're like, look, all right. It's just I felt the need to say it so you guys don't sue me in case you guys get crumped. So I'm legally obligated to say that. All right.
Spends money on an LSSI chip and be like, then I could sue after death.
There, get a new you body. Come back and be like, I'm suing you from beyond the grave. My new body is suing you on behalf of my old body.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what I should do in the other one. Anyways, but yeah, sure. I'll accept it. I got nothing better to do. 10,000 callers sounds nice.
All right. So he tells you, he's like, all right, thank you. Oh, I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. So he then says, he's like, well, I figure you guys are gonna need a lead to go off of to begin this investigation. He's like, all right, I know how this kind of thing works. I've hired private investigators before. And he kind of like wink, nudges at like Pharaoh and Bonus, and they both just kind of like don't react. And he's like, all right, well, look, okay, my bar, after the incident with the Crimson Crescent trying to extort me for money, and Bonus laughs to himself at that. He's like, yeah, nice times, good times. And he's like, after that incident, I beefed up security a little bit, and I installed some security cameras around the property, right, inside and outside, just so that in case they ever came back, I could sue them. I could email the footage to the police or something like that and get them arrested or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that the cameras, I think they caught the beginning of the massacre, on the cameras. So you guys can check that out. You can look around the bar. I'm pretty sure the cops are still hanging around. So, but you guys can just walk up to them and tell them like that you're hired by me, and they'll let you in. Yeah, the cameras, go over, investigate, see what you can find out, and see if the cops will tell you anything too, I guess, while you're at it.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
He also says that you can interview the four-armed bartender if that's something you want to do. That he should be alive and awake.
Should be.
You go in there and just the dude with a knife standing over him, like, uh-oh. Uncomfortable.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna actually... Yeah. Can I just input my phone number into his phone, or can I ask him for it? Be like, hey, can you quickly unlock your phone? I know that you're decrepit and dying right now, but I need you to do that for me.
Okay, yeah. So he just, well, I guess, yeah, his phone would be like, would be like next to him, and he kind of uses his what remains of his functioning left arm, and he kind of picks it up, and he kind of like reads off his phone number for you.
Sick. I input it because gotta use them sub vocals.
Yeah.
Right. It was the police the whole time. You're not getting any money back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, well, I mean, corporations, well, I mean, to be fair, Kode Enterprises, now think about it, Kode Enterprises runs the police, but is also, like, the biggest banking corporation, So yes, they could do that and commit insurance fraud, and just attack their own people, their own clients. God.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I mean, would they? No. Enterprises is they do sell like illegal weaponry to people. They are illegal arms dealers, but they're not insurance fraudsters. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I think if that's the end of it, I'll be like the last to leave, so I could have that short little conversation with him. Be like, listen here. Or actually, I'll do it over the phone. I'll make it really weird and awkward.
All right. So all of you guys
Alright.
leave. Are you guys gonna go talk to the bartender, or are you gonna go straight to the actual club itself?
No, I'd go to the bartender if no one else does. I mean, I'm still gonna go if people go. I'm just staying that.
Bonus will follow Fixer because Fixer needs protecting.
What?
Bonus thinks that Fixer needs a big, strong man to help him. All right, don't question it. you're a weak, big metal robot. It's like bulletproof. But don't.
It's all because he got his new arm implant for the blades. He wants to use them as quick as possible.
I mean, essentially, he wants to use that sweet robo arm.
All right. Well, I guess I trust Nox to interrogate the four-armed guy, and I'll tell her that we'll be at the bar.
Oh, sick.
Huh? I zoned out. What? What's happening?
I'm
We're going
holding
to use
the
our
bartender.
nuclear launch code to strike Grindstown.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Campaign over.
We'll end up killing our assailants and the collateral damage. It'll be fine.
Of course. You just nuke the capital of the world real quick. Kablooey.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a K3 campaign because the world has ended.
Just like we intended it to be.
Exactly. No, so what are you doing? I didn't go to the bartender, but are you like...
God. I'm going to talk to the bartender at gunpoint because he said interrogate, so I gotta make it really threatening.
You gotta drag his hospital bed into a police interrogation room and put a light over him and be like, "Where are the drugs going? Where's Rachel?"
Yeah, but no. So I'm gonna go to the bartender. Gonna go to him and be like,
"All right,
hey buddy, how you doing?"
Hey buddy. All right, so you go there. Fixer, where are you going? And by extension, where's Bonus going?
Bar.
All right. Pharaoh, where would he go? I think he would probably go to the bartender.
Probably in character would go to the bartender and be like, I care about you too.
Well, in that case, out of character, he's going to go home.
He's like, I'm done with this. I'm devastated, heartbroken.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to go walk into the ocean. Kyra's dead. He drowns himself. End of that character. No. So yeah, he's gonna go to the bartender with Nox. Okay. So the two of them go their separate ways. While the drive isn't actually that long a drive. It's only like a couple miles, I think. It's 1.8 miles. So yeah, not that long at all. Because you guys are so close to the corporate sector. So you guys head to the bartender. Do you leave then immediately like ring Drab's phone or what?
I'm gonna do it after the bartender because it'd be really weird if I just like stare at him. Like for right now, I'll pretend like I haven't mastered it, so I can both telepathically like speak to someone while also speaking another whole conversation. Brings up the phone. It's like, where is she? So Bob, how you doing? What? Huh? So I'm gonna go to bartender, check him out, see what this man looks like.
All right. So you go to the bartender's room. He is like 2 or 3 rooms down, and you guys, you and Pharaoh walk in, and he is substantially like better off than his boss seems to be. One of his arms is like having shot off. I mean, it's like, like it's been like replaced. I guess it's like the debris has been removed, and it's been like cleaned and stuff, so it's no longer like sparking and sputtering oil and stuff. But yeah, so he does appear to be a little bit better off. He does appear to have like a bullet wound in his chest where he was shot, but otherwise he is more or less intact. We guys walk in and he's like, "Oh, who's there?"
We're here to collect our debt.
Oh God! He leaps from his bed and jumps out the window and dies with poor balcony.
Commit suicide. Now I go, hey buddy, came to visit from the bartender guy. Heard you were rough the hell up.
He's like,
hard, very hard.
I forget what this guy's voice was like. I forget if I made him super flamboyant or not. I think I did.
Oh,
I'm just gonna assume that I made him super flamboyant because that's the kind of thing that I, the narrator, would choose to do. Let me see. Yeah, all my notes on the River's Dick says is managed by Elren and bartended, but his name is his name is Landon Case, the 3.5 armed master of mixology. So I'm gonna make him flamboyant now. He's like, "Oh my God, hey guys, what's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got pretty messed up. Those guys, they busted in the door in the bar and like shot me in the chest like a couple times and blew one of my arms off. But other than that, it's pretty chill." He's like, I'm not as bad off as Mr. Drav is, but
still roughed up though. Anything you remember? Like at first, if you can break down the events.
He's like, well, it's pretty traumatizing and stuff, but I think I can delve into my new horrible fears and post-traumatic stress to help you in your investigation.
Ah, nice. Sick.
Yeah. So he says, no. He's like, so there I was, all right, minding my own business. I was attending the bar, tossing the drinks in the air and like making them up and whatever, like I usually do. And this squad of like 10 dudes, right? They were 10 guys, pretty beefy, if I don't say so myself. They were wearing like heavy like riot suppression gear. They were like super heavy armor, and all of them had like SMGs and like assault rifles, and they just busted down the door, and first they ran up, and I'm pretty sure they shot the bouncer first, but they had suppressors, so we didn't hear that part. And then they made it into the main room, and they gunned down like the people in the on the dance floor, which was like 50 people, and then they turned the direction on me because I tried to shoot one of them with a shotgun and I missed. And he's like, and that's why my arm is now partially missing, because they blew the shotgun out of my hand.
Huh.
Like, and then the same dude that blew my arm off put like a burst of like 5.56 into my chest, and that's all I remember.
Nice. I'm gonna ask you to delve deep, very deep into your memory. Did any of their riot gear have markings on it? Did any of their guns have markings on it? Did they have a specific accent? Were they quiet the whole time? Did they spring racial slurs at you while doing it? Yeah.
I'm gonna make him make an intelligence check to see if he can actually remember, because he was one shot unconscious and 2 trauma. He got a 5. So he tells you that the gear that they were wearing didn't have any like logos on it, but it was definitely the Xenocorp product. Like it's like heavy body armor that they sell, not usually to civilians, but you can get anything legally.
If I remember Xenocorp correctly, Xenocorp is like the illegal, like the black market stuff, right? It's not like the greatest, but they
Yeah,
can
they're
get things out fast.
like kind of cheaply made, but they make a lot of it, and they don't sell it for a lot. They are the off-brand Kode Enterprises products essentially.
Yeah, I remember talking about Xenocorp. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean it's like, and
So if
they're
it's
he
Xenocorp,
says Xenocorp armor. He says that their guns were not real guns, so they weren't like corporate agents or whatever. They weren't that tricked out. Their weapons were just normal, high velocity, standard combustion firearms. Um, yeah, Xenocorp armor. Their guns were, I forget what company I said they're from. Their guns would have been Jackson Industries. Yeah, and Jackson Industries makes a lot of like high caliber, fully automatic, you know, weapons. They don't tend to sell to the civilian market, but yeah, they make like a lot
do
of
that.
chunky guns. They do sell some guns to the civilian market. Yes.
But the United Attack would not have been one of them.
I mean, you don't know. Like the bartender doesn't give you like model of gun. He just says that like they looked vaguely like Jason Industries. Well, he said they could have been either Jason Industries or Xenocorp. We couldn't tell because the guns were all like painted, like camos, so there wasn't like you could actually tell what they looked like, and they were super modified. And in terms of speech, they didn't talk, but he could tell that they were speaking to each other over radios in their helmets. And they all wore like the full face covering helmet, so he couldn't see their faces.
All right. I'm gonna have to like revel back into it. Revel back? That's a word. Sure, I'm gonna have to